Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So, as you guys know, the WNBA is one of the hot topics right now with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and all of the things surrounding that. Obviously, we know the exchange that took place on ESPN First Take about a week or so ago with Stephen A. Smith, Monica McNutt, and all of that. So it's a pretty trending topic. So what happened? Team USA's women's team announced that Caitlin Clark didn't make the final cut for their roster to go compete in the Olympics, and it drew a spectrum of responses. And they actually discussed this in this pretty long segment yesterday on ESPN First Take. I think the segment was about 17 to 20 minutes. I could be wrong. And the basic premise of the conversation was the following. Did Team USA's women's basketball team make a mistake by not ensuring that Caitlin Clark is on the team to market their brand, the WNBA as a whole? Or did they do the right thing by making it based on the merit and ensuring that more qualified players that ultimately would gel better with the compilation, the amalgamation of talent that they had assembled would be the best thing to do? So this is essentially what they were going back and forth about. So when it came Stephen A. Smith's chance to basically turn to take, to give his views on ESPN First Take, I thought he made some pretty compelling arguments where he pretty much left the panelists pretty much just, running for the hills, because I didn't think they really had a good rebuttal to what he had to say. So what we want to do now is play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say yesterday about Caitlin Clark being left off the women's basketball team. And then want to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
If you want to go from a marketing perspective, sure, Caitlin is extremely marketable. However, I just want to pitch this to everyone. Imagine Caitlin joining this team and spending time on the bench. What is the conversation going to be about the entire time the Olympics is going on? Why isn't Caitlin getting more minutes? Why isn't Caitlin playing? I'm sure people will tune in, but what will the conversation be then? I think it's really interesting. Head coach Christy Sides for the Indiana Fever said that a monster was woken up in Caitlin Clark, and I think that is wonderful. I think motivation for Caitlin is wonderful. I'm going to say this. A monster has been woken in all of the women that were selected for the Olympic team also, because the conversation is again centered around Caitlin Clark. If your only argument for Caitlin is that it would have been a great marketing opportunity and you don't have basketball experience or chemistry with the group listed in your reasoning, I don't want to hear it. When you talk about Diana Taurasi, she has played overseas basketball. She is having a phenomenal season, putting up big time numbers, and two of her current teammates, though, are on the team, Shannon. You know what chemistry means. You know what it means to have somebody beside you out there on the playing field that you trust.
This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid. And I'm going to tell you why it's stupid. I want all the ladies on this squad to know every single one of y'all are deserving of it. Caitlin Clark does not deserve a spot ahead of any of the players on this roster, okay? If we're talking just basketball, you know we're not. Let's harken back to the Dream Team in 1992. Remember when Christian Laettner was on that squad? Forget the other Forget the pro players. That's a given. First time NBA players were allowed to participate. Don't put that damn screen up when I'm talking right now. I want to see Shanae and Andrea, okay? The point is this. Those rosters, right? Those players were on there. Do you know that Christian Laettner also was chosen ahead of Shaquille O'Neal and Alonzo Mourning? You know why? He was a two-time national champion. He was a Wooden Award winner. And he was white. And he had his own cachet. He brought it to the table. He was a big-time collegiate player who was white and busting people's you-know-what. They couldn't miss, and they didn't need him. You had Jordan, you had Magic, you had everybody, and you still picked that dude. Why? It wasn't because of basketball, even though he had the basketball credentials. It was because of something else, and they didn't need the pub. But the WNBA does. You got a max salary at $250,000. You had attendance, although it was trending in the right direction, certainly wasn't where you wanted it to be. And as Shannon pointed out just the other day, you got a team in the Indiana Fever with their struggling selves, struggling to win a damn game and be relevant. No team in the WNBA was worse other than the winless Washington Mystics, okay? And they went from 4,000 in attendance to 17,000. This girl is box office. I said a rising tide lifts all boats. What you do, especially if you're Team USA and you're trying to be globalized, it is an opportunity to globalize the WNBA brand. So people like Brittany Griner, God bless her soul, and others don't have to go to Russia in the off season to play additional basketball to get extra income. They could stay right here if the sport elevates its popularity and you ladies start getting what you richly deserve. I'll even get a bit personal to Chinea Gumake and Andrea Carter.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. As a matter of fact, this morning they were discussing it on Get Up with Mike Greenberg, Tim Legler, and Monica McNutt. They were discussing this very thing. Should the WNBA be focused on winning the Olympics, the gold medal, or should they be also thinking about marketing the brand? And funny enough, I think Tim Legler said that they should be more focused on promoting their brand, because ultimately it's going to help all of these players in the entire league in the long run. So what are my thoughts? Do you know what? I think Stephen A. Smith made some very good points, and I'm going to side with him on this particular issue. The reason I'm going to side with him is because of precedent. Instances in the past where players that were probably more qualified for a particular position, in this case in the men's team, they were left off the team to make a marketing move. He mentioned Christian Laettner. He mentioned Michael Jordan, right, with the Isaiah Thomas, being left off the dream team, right? So there's been precedent for it. Number one. Number two, I think that what he is advocating is that the WNBA think about this from a more macro standpoint. And I think that's what Stephen A. Smith that's always been his viewpoint on this. I think some people try to distort and convolute his views on this, but even when he had that blow up of Monica McNutt on TV, essentially what he was saying was, don't hurt the golden goose. It's the same thing that Charles Barkley recently said. We reproduced a show on that. And a lot of people weighed in on that show as well. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We just produced it over this weekend. Charles Barkley blasting the WNBA. You guys should definitely check that show out there. But I think that's his overarching point. That's the point he's always been making. Like, look, you guys are talking about, why weren't you covering the sport all these years ago? He's like, it's irrelevant. And now you have a situation in which you have someone who is bringing eyeballs to your product. Why wouldn't you want to put them on a center stage? And then he brought up the other point, was like, they were going to win anyway, right? If you look at the men's basketball team, the Dream Team, they were beating teams with the widest margin of all time, right? So adding one other player was not going to make a difference. In this particular instance, I don't think it would have made a difference. And again, if you're about growing the WNBA, I think that you go ahead and just, you just make that decision. Is it fair? No, but ultimately you have a bigger view. You have the big picture in mind. So I don't think what he said was wrong. I agree with him. The point that the ladies were making, I understand that you want it to be based on the merit of it and blah 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 blah. I get all of that, but at the same time, man, if you leave her off that squad, it could have been a golden opportunity to promote the league and really strike when the iron is hot at this particular moment. Now, is she going to have an opportunity? In this case, we're talking about Caitlin Clark, to make future teams? Sure. Why not? Of course, there's a probability that she could do it ultimately, yes. But now the moment is now. Carpe diem, man. Seize the moment, because you don't know where the WNBA is going to be in terms of interest. 3 years from now, how many years do the Olympics come around? Every 4 years? So who knows where the interest is going to be 3-4 years from now. So you strike when the iron is hot and you make the decision now. This is my view. I agree with Stephen A. Smith 100% on this. I think he made some sound points, and he also backed it up with some concrete examples. So let me get into this topic here, right? So as you guys know, Kendrick Perkins and LeBron James have had a falling out. And it's something that's been telegraphed really over the last few weeks now, with the way Kendrick Perkins has been kind of calling out LeBron James for some of his antics. A lot of us were sitting here scratching our heads like, what's going on? People make the joke all the time, the infamous joke of, oh, the clutch checks aren't clearing, the clutch checks aren't clearing, right? But Kendrick Perkins has been letting his thoughts known, and the most recent moment was when LeBron James was asked on the Mind the Game podcast about, Kyrie Irving and all that, and he expressed how, he wishes that Kyrie could still be his teammate. And a lot of us looked at LeBron with a side like, what are you talking about? You wish he could be your teammate. You tried to get the guy traded 2 times when he was in Cleveland. When you had him, you tried to get him traded 2 times. 1 for Chris Paul, that didn't work out. 2 for Paul George. Kyrie heard about it and he's like, I'm out. I just helped this joker win a championship and you trying to get me traded. I'm out. And now you're talking about you miss him. But anyway, so people were like looking at him side eye. Some people were like, bro, what are you talking about right now? But then Kendrick Perkins heard those comments and he went on there and was like, here go Bron trying to steal somebody else's moment. Well, apparently that was the last straw that broke the camel's back, and LeBron unfollowed Kendrick Perkins. So yesterday they were on ESPN First Take reacting to it. And on the panel, they had Kendrick Perkins. And of course, Shannon Sharpe was there, right? Now, funny enough, Shannon Sharpe had already reacted to what Kendrick Perkins, the back and forth with him and LeBron, on Nightcap with Chad Johnson and Gilbert Arenas. And Gilbert Arenas said that, Kendrick Perkins is a Celtic, so you're always going to hate on LeBron, blah, 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 blah. So what happened? Yesterday, on ESPN First Take, there came time for Shannon Sharpe to basically, give his views. And he basically said, listen, Perk, I understand that you have the right to feel how you want to feel, but I disagree with you. And he went on to explain why he disagrees with Kendrick Perkins in the position that he took. So what we want to do now is want to play exactly what Shannon Sharpe had to say yesterday on ESPN First Take to Kendrick Perkins, and then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to Shannon here.
Yeah, I respect Perk's opinion, although I didn't agree with it. LeBron was asked a question about Kyrie, and he basically said, look, he said, I'm extremely excited for him. We know what type of player he was playing alongside me. He and I playing together. We won a championship, went to 2 NBA finals. But I'm mad as hell the guy ain't my running mate anymore. And I thought that was a perfectly fine response. Perk didn't view it that way. Perk viewed it in a way that he thought he was trying to upstage Kyrie and take some of Kyrie's shine. That's not the way I viewed it. But Perk's entitled to his opinion. Although, we can have an opinion, Stephen A., you have an opinion, and we disagree. Right. It's kind of like Janae and Andrea, they just have an opinion. Stephen A., we disagree with it. I'm not about unfollow somebody because I have a disagreement or they have a disagreement about my opinion. That's not how I operate. But clearly, LeBron probably felt some type of way like, bro, all I was doing was giving an honest response, and someone took what I said, tried to make it more than what it was. So I don't have a problem with what Perk did because that's his opinion. And LeBron, if he felt some type of way, that's the way he feels. I'm not going to here to tell him how he should or shouldn't feel. But I did laugh. So Perk, so now you Jesus? So you might not be Jesus, what you John the Baptist? I mean, which one?
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say. Of course, he disagreed with Kendrick Perkins, and a lot of LeBron guys disagree with him. Funny enough, I came across, I don't know the name of the channel, but this guy who was getting at Kendrick Perkins, man, he was pretty upset. He was a LeBron guy, and it was pretty funny. It was like, I think he was like calling Kendrick Perkins like this doofus. I'm like, yo. He's really, really mad about it. What are my thoughts on this? Well, of course, Shannon Sharpe was going to defend LeBron there. But to be fair to Shannon, there are times where he pushes back on LeBron, like when LeBron had those Miami Heat comments and Shannon Sharpe pushed back on him there. In the case of Kendrick and LeBron James, I just think that Kendrick Perkins is reaching the point where he's like, Kendrick Perkins is reaching the point where I think a lot of these grown-ass men need to reach as well. These people that are afraid to fall out of the favor of LeBron. And I'm like, why y'all care so much? Y'all acting like y'all married to the dude. I'm trying to think, like, The only reason I would care, I'm keeping it funky with you guys. The only reason I would care to maintain a relationship with another dude to the level that some of these dudes do when they go up here and twerk it up all over the place for LeBron James is if I feel like it is beneficial to me still maintain that relationship with that person, maybe monetarily or whatever, maybe for protection or whatever. But if there's no real reason, if there's no monetary reason, if there's no other reason beyond that, why would I care? In the case of Kendrick Perkins, he's married, he has kids. Why would I care if another the dude decides to be my friend or not? Like, why exactly would I care? We're not in high school. I'm not like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to sit at the lunch table with them no more. I'm not going to be a part of the, like, these are grown ass men with kids. Why would you care? If LeBron unfollows you, so what? Who cares? Like, I'm that's the part I'm trying to understand in all of this. Dudes trying to stay in other dudes' good graces and all of that. Now, if you need some money and, you know, being connected to that guy is a way for you to get money, then yeah, I can understand. You twerk it up. You let him slap you with some honey and you keep it moving. But in the case that if you're financially good and you got a family and all that, like, I'm just trying to picture, like, why would I care to maintain some relationship with some dude? Especially if they're not adding to my bottom line. Why would I care? Why would I feel afraid? Like, oh man, I better not say the wrong thing. The fallout of his great. What is, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but last time I checked, Kendrick Perkins is being employed by ESPN, not LeBron James. So why do you care what LeBron thinks? Again. And I think probably that's the realization that Kendrick Perkins came to. Like, I'm lost here. I work for ESPN. LeBron don't cut my paychecks. So what does it matter if he agrees with, who cares? And this is the part I don't get. I don't understand, unless LeBron and these guys, you know, cutting these guys checks, or maybe the reason is some of them have jobs, then probably that's the reason why y'all are always over there twerking it up all over the place, knocking over drinks, slapping each other with honey, just disturbing the peace. Just running around the hallways, kicking it, slamming on tables, knocking over drinks. Who knows what these people are doing? Yesterday, some pretty big news dropped in the NBA yesterday. And it was centered on UConn's head coach, Dan Hurley, turning down the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, we had finished producing shows and then the news dropped and I'm like, I'm not going to do a live about this. So I then posted on the community with the story about it. And then just to hear what people were saying. And everyone was pretty much saying the same thing. Smart guy. Good for him. Dodge the bullet. Smart guy. Right? And in the aftermath of that, a lot of us are out here wondering, what the hell is going on? I want to read from a CBS article. It says, Lakers get publicly embarrassed by Dan Hurley and show the NBA they don't really have a plan. The Lakers didn't just lose their main man on Monday when Dan Hurley turned their offer down to be the team's next head coach. They also seem to have lost the thread. That the UConn coach turned down the Lakers' reported 6-year, $70 million offer is not on its face a shock. Hurley has a chance to chase a third NCAA championship, a feat not accomplished since John Wooden 50 years ago. The Lakers' job may have also been a poised chalice, all the glitz and purple and gold glamour on the outside, but something much trickier to navigate once enclosed in the actual job. And related and connected to the next point, there's no guarantee a hard-charging, no NBA experience hire like Hurley would fit well with LeBron James. The Kings' exact standards, particular view of how his team should operate, and preference to be a partner with a head coach rather than a subordinate would have been interesting to see with Hurley, to say the least. No, the real surprise here is that the Lakers do not seem to know what they're doing or who exactly they would like to become. Let's start with the embarrassment of chasing a real gamble, and Hurley was just that, before being spurred in such a public, slow-moving manner. It makes the Lakers look small. It provides a sheen of amateurism. It begs the question why they would put themselves out there like that for a college coach who didn't want the job. You know, reading this article is quite. Is this guy trying to like fill out, audition for the next Shakespeare play on Broadway? Good Lord, bro. We're talking sports here, man. All of this grammar that you're using making my head hurt. Anyway, so you heard what the article had to say there. Now, what's interesting is before producing this show, we actually put up a poll. So let me get into what some of the poll results. So we put up a poll about an hour ago. Obviously, I want you guys to go vote. When you guys see this, make sure you go vote and leave your comments there. About an hour or so ago, we posed the following question to the audience. The question was simply this: Why do you think the biggest? I meant to say what? What do you think the biggest reason Dan Hurley rejected the Lakers job? Option 1, not enough money. Option 2, too much drama. Option 3, better situation in UConn. Option 4, Lakers aren't an attractive destination. Option 5, LeBron and Clutch. Of the 3,300 people that have voted thus far, 38% of them said too much drama. 23% of them said better situation where he is. 8% said Lakers aren't an attractive destination anymore. And 27% of them said LeBron and Clutch sports. So basically, if we do the math here, that's 50, over 60%, close to 70%. Close to 70% of the people think that too much drama with the Lakers and LeBron and Clutch sports are probably a factor as to why Dan Hurley decided not to take the job, and a lot of people weighed in. One person said too much drama, LeBron goes together. You don't want to be another person said you don't want to be in a toxic environment that will scapegoat you in the next 2 years. Another person said he doesn't need the drama, too much drama in LeBron James, period. Another person said Dan getting an $8 million a year raise at UConn, taxes, cost of living, and shorter season at college was a no-brainer to stay. Somebody said need all the above, and a few other people weighed in. Just a quick note. Now that we're talking about the gentleman just brought up taxes, California is a beautiful place. LA specifically, I've been beautiful. I was there looking at the weather. I'm like, man, this place is fantastic. Went to Universal Studios, drove down Beverly Hills, went all of these beautiful. I'm like, man, this place is just amazing. Absolute. I was like, man, this place is gorgeous. No, really, it is. I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to be out here in California. My God, this is a fantastic place. Man, it would be amazing to live here. Do you know when I said that? When I didn't have a job. That's when I said that. I don't understand why anybody would volunteer to go live out there in LA or California, whatever it is, and pay them. I don't care if you make $100,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $1 million a year, $10 million a year, 50. It doesn't really matter. At that point, I feel like I'm working for the government. I would listen. I would plant some palm trees in my backyard. I swear to God, I will plant some palm trees. I will put on some Snoop, and boy, we in California. And I'm gonna go somewhere else where I can keep my I ain't working that damn hard to be giving all my taxes for what? For some sunshine? Nah, man, y'all can have that. Y'all can keep that. Anyway, off topic. Look, this is an embarrassment of the highest degree. Now, some people say, well, Coach Mike Krzyzewski turned down the Lakers in 2004. There's a fundamental difference. At that point, I think Shaq had left. And that team was going through a lot of turmoil, right? Shaq had left, and I think Karl Malone and these guys and Gary Payton and these guys, I think they were leaving the Lakers or something like that, right? In the case of this current Lakers team, they're 2 years removed from going to the Western Conference Finals. And they just lost in the playoffs against the reigning defending champions. So chances are if they didn't play the champs, they could have probably had a better chance in advancing. So it's not like they're going to a bad situation. I think that the Lakers are a drama. And finally, there wasn't this much drama around the Lakers in 2004. The Lakers are the most toxic team in all of the NBA. Let's just face it. And the media and all of the way these guys spin it and all of this stuff is part of the problem. Who in their right mind? So wait, I'm going to go to LA. You're going to pay me, I don't know what, $11 million per annum, whatever the hell they were going to pay him. You cut that in half, right? You cut it in half. So if you're getting 10, for example, you're going to get like 4.5 in LA, which is enough reason. I would have been in that meeting with my calculator. I would be like, can we just run the taxes on this, please? And they're like, I just saw like half. I'd be like, Jeannie, thank you so much. It's been great. Thank you guys for the offer. I appreciate the tea. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go back. Thanks. Y'all have a good one. That would have been enough reason for me to walk out. Anyway, he's looking at the situation there. I'm going to be losing half my money. I'm going to get blamed for every single thing under the sun here. I'm going to have people in the media in an independent space twerking it up all over the place, knocking over drinks, slapping each other with honey, running up and down the hallway, hollering and screaming, slamming desks, just making a total mess of the entire place. Just destroying the place. And if we win, I'm not going to get an iota of credit. He's like, nah, I think I'm good. Y'all can have that. It's crazy that this is what the Lakers have become. And I think we need to spend some more time talking about Jeannie Buss, because she's at the heart of all of it. Like, how she gets to just escape through is unbelievable. James Dolan had been criticized for years, justifiably. But Jeannie Buss hadn't been doing a great job either. Ever since Kobe tore his Achilles tendon, it's been just disaster after disaster. The Lakers have really only had one good season. Really, that's the 2020 season when he went in the last, 10 years? So we need to start looking at her too, because she's a part of all of these decisions.